Zaraki Kenpachi, a Shinigami captain of the Godai 13 companies. Kurosaki, a substitute Soul Reaper hybrid from Karakura Town. What do they both have in common?
How? I don't know.
Today, we're going to rank both of them only from the Lost Agent arc to see who's stronger. But first, I'd like to give a shout out to everyone who participated on this poll for suggesting this matchup. If it's your first time here, please do me a favor by smashing that subscribe button. So let's begin this fight. Starting us off, Zaraki Kenpachi. In the Lost Agent arc, he arrived in Karakura Town alongside other less-known Shinigami. Then he proceeded to violate the so-called strongest baddie, just like how I did the guy who owed me a like and subscribe. And that's all we have for Zaraki in the Lost Agent arc. Naturally, we will have to rely on his previous arc feats to gauge how strong he was by the events of the Lost Agent arc. I patched Zaraki was stronger than first release Yami the Zero Espada by the end of the Huko Mundo arc. In the novels, which takes place right after those events and before the Lost Agent arc, Zaraki would go on to surpass second release Yami while still wearing his eye patch during his fight with Cian, the previous Zero Espada. Plus, he would also surpass Azashiro the 8th Kenpachi. From the Databooks, we know Yami had at least 2 times the Ryatsu of a captain by his first release, and he would double that Ryatsu by his second release, which would mean novel Zaraki, while wearing an eye patch, had at least 2 to 4 times a captain's Ryatsu. This is further collaborated by Yuryu, who compared Zaraki's Ryatsu while wearing his eye patch to Vasto Lord Ichigo's, a form that we discovered had the same ranges of Ryatsu, of at least 2 times a captain's Ryatsu in the previous video. Now on to Kurosaki. Kurosaki has 3 forms that I'll be referring to from the Lost Agent arc. Starting off is the incomplete Fullbring. This form is stated to be close in power to his previous arc forms. This is confusing, since Kurosaki has always had fluctuating Ryatsu, so we don't know if it's implying Kurosaki was regaining his full powers at his peak or not. Kugo seems to imply Kurosaki would regain all his Soul Reaper powers, which could mean either his 2 times a captain's Ryatsu that he had during the fake Karakura Town fight, or his transcendent Ryatsu he gained after his Dangai training. Kurosaki would complete his Fullbring, therefore obtaining his full powers, but then it would be stolen by Kugo. Kugo would go on to share this power with members of his group, and what's impressive is that Kugo, with just a portion of Kurosaki's Fullbring, would surpass noble level Ryatsu, as it's confirmed in the novels. But this would mean Kurosaki, after completing his Fullbring, only obtained his fake Karakura Town level Ryatsu, since Base Aizen is also stated to have higher Ryatsu than the nobles. So it's safe to conclude complete Fullbring had 2 times a captain's Ryatsu and not transcendent Ryatsu. While that's impressive, Kurosaki would surpass that level of Ryatsu by having stronger casual Shikai swings than his complete Fullbring Getsugas after regaining his Soul Reaper powers, thanks to all the members of the Godai 13 and his father plus Urahara. So this means while in his third and final Fullbring arc form, his Shikai has at least 2 times a captain's Ryatsu. Now that we've exhausted all their feats individually, let us rank both of them together to see who is truly the stronger one of the 2 at the time. As usual, we will start with Offense. Offense is further divided into 2 categories, that is strength and attack potency. Fullbring arc Zaraki with his eye patch on is stated to be stronger than Yami, who had between 2 to 4 times a captain's Ryatsu. On the other hand, Kurosaki has statements putting him in Shikai comfortably above his previous fake Karakura Town level of at least 2 times a captain's Ryatsu. The eye patch for Zaraki is usually equal to a Bankai level amplifier when removed. We know this thanks to the Soul Society arc fight between Kurosaki and Zaraki, where Kurosaki had access to his Quincy powers. Quincy Blood is directly stated to be equal to a Bankai level amplifier, but that's not all Zaraki gains by removing his eye patch, since Mayurai would remake the eye patch to consume 10 times more Ryatsu than it previously did according to the novels. This would mean Zaraki without the eye patch now gains either a 20% increase or a 100% increase. For the 20% increase, we can get it by adding the 10% multiplier for the usual Bankai level amplifier he used to gain previously, plus the additional 10% increase for the new eye patch consumption. And for the 100% increase in Ryatsu, we can multiply the two 10% increase, one for the previous Bankai level amplifier and the second for the new 10% increase in new consumption. Personally, I believe the 20% increase in Ryatsu makes more sense, since a 100% increase means Zaraki doesn't remain with any Ryatsu while using the eye patch, which is a ridiculous assumption. On the other hand, Kurosaki, while using his Fullbring Art Bankai, gains the usual Bankai level amplifier plus additional Ryatsu from the Hollow Mask, which means a further 10% increase in Ryatsu. Similar to Zaraki's multipliers, we can assume Kurosaki gains either a 20% increase in Ryatsu or a 100% increase, only that for Kurosaki, both are applicable due to his increase being actual amplifiers, unlike the eye patch which only takes from Zaraki's base. For perspective, Zaraki with the eye patch on has between 2 to 4 times a captain's Ryatsu, and without his Fullbring Arc eye patch he gained a 20% increase in Ryatsu. Meanwhile, Fullbring Kurosaki in Shikai has at least 2 times a captain's Ryatsu but gains between 20% increase to 100% increase in Bankai. The two characters are very close in power. This is further emphasized in the 1000-Year Blood War arc, where both would fight Yhwach. Since this isn't a who would win video, but a who's stronger, we won't need to go over other stats, aside from offense. In Bleach, Ryatsu directly correlates to offense, so we will use what we've discussed to know who's stronger between the two. In their weaker forms, Zaraki has more Ryatsu while wearing an eye patch compared to Shikai Kurosaki, so offense, attack, potency, and strength should confidently go to him. On the other hand, in their stronger forms, Kurosaki in Fullbring Bankai has a higher multiplier than Zaraki without his eye patch. Hence, overall, Kurosaki should get offense, attack, potency, and strength. But this isn't the case since multipliers in Bleach work in mysterious ways. In the fake Karakura Town arc, Kurosaki in Bankai had only 2 times a captain's Ryatsu. This would mean in his Shikai he should only be around 0.2% equal to a captain if we apply our basic understanding of maths. So the only way for us to know who's stronger is to rely on canon statements about the 2+ feats. For instance, someone can say Kurosaki only managed to harm Yhwach thanks to awakening his Quincy blood, which is a further 10% increase to his Bankai, unlike Zaraki stating he had to become stronger to defeat Lloyd, which is an unqualified multiplier. On top of this, Zaraki is stated by the fake Yhwach to have been the strongest war potential within the first core, unlike Kurosaki, who only became the head of the group after obtaining his true Shikai powers. Still, there is more evidence to support Kurosaki being the stronger one out of the two during their prime forms in the Fullbring arc. There are even people who believe Fullbring Kurosaki had surpassed Yamamurudu by the time he awakened his Quincy powers, which is a conversation for another day. So for now, we will abide on the findings we have obtained to say Fullbring Kurosaki was definitely the stronger one of the two during the events of the Fullbring arc. Please subscribe to support the channel, and thank you for sticking till the end. And do remember to have a blast this festive season.
He's finally here. I was getting tired of waiting.
Some spiritual pressure. It's like someone's got a blade pressed right up against my throat.
Are you the one?